Who's there? Who's it? Who is it? Don't worry about it. Hello. Good morning or good afternoon or perhaps good evening, depending on when you're listening to this. I also don't care. I don't expect you. Hey, I just got started. No screaming aloud. This happens to be another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. That's right. I'm your host, Old Heart. I'm sitting down here with, well, a cup of coffee and a handful of coins from my coin jar, my swear jar, which every day seems to get emptied and every day seems to get filled. What a weird circle of life I live. It's like every penny I earn I seem to need. You know, truth be told, I have 6 cents in my bank accounts. Both of them. Thank you. I've never had anybody applaud for how poor I am. Holy fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, that greed,
shut up,
for lack of a better word, is good.
Whoa, I don't think I feel that way about it though. I really don't care about having a lot of money. I just need to use it for living, which sucks. If I had enough money to just live, I'd probably be alright. But if I, had an extra amount, who knows? Maybe I'd take a cruise. I've never been on a cruise. I also have like this weird thing about deep open water. I'll get past that in one of these days. Either way, we're not talking about my fears today. At least not today. We're talking about, something you didn't know. Something to help ripen up the coconut. My coconut in particular, because your coconut's your own damn responsibility. And unless you want me to ripen it with the things I ripen mine, figure out a different way to ripen yours. God, that sounds horrible. I'm getting defensive already. Shit. This coffee I got, this Americano I got from Phoebe's Pastry Cafe on the west side of Olympia, really got me jazzed up. I'm just gonna say it. Either way, I was cruising around IFL Science. If you don't know what that stands for, it stands for I fucking love science. And it's a good website. It's full of like random tidbits and little things you didn't know. And one of them, I just found an article that really caught my eye. It said, man's undetected tumor triggers Alice in Wonderland Syndrome. I was like, what the hell is Alice in Wonderland Syndrome? I don't really know. Do you know? Probably not. Anyway, it says, people who develop a rare condition known as Alice in Wonderland Syndrome, or AIWS, fall down their own rabbit hole of sorts, with similarly bizarre results. One such patient is a 54-year-old man which was recently described in a case report published in the journal Neurocase. This man's symptoms started one morning as he was gazing at his computer screen. Beware, computers give you Alice in Wonderland Syndrome? Yes. The alive studio audience here at Old Heart Studios, they always are poorly timed. God dang. Hey, as you're about to start, they just laugh you right off the stage. It's okay. Anyway, what I was saying was, this man's symptoms started while he was gazing at his computer screen. He recalls the desktop icons leaping out from the monitors. Starting to sound like a drug trip. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. The icons proceeded to float in the space between him and the screen for 10 minutes or so, moving nearer and further away before disappearing past his right side. This was followed by an hour of sensory aphasia, when the ability to understand spoken or written speech is blocked, and an intense pulsating headache. Alright, so that does sound kind of, aside from like the pulsating headache, kind of sounds like a drug trip. Although I've had headaches while doing all sorts of things, we'll say. Either way, visual illusions or hallucinations like these are apparently classic symptoms of AIWS. as well as pelophagia, which is objects and people appearing further or nearer. Patients may experience macrophagia and microphagia, which means objects and people appearing bigger or smaller, and macromatognasia and micromatognasia, where all or some of their body appearing bigger or smaller. Kind of like they reference kind of like the eat me cake or drink me vials in Alice in Wonderland. That's kind of cool, actually. I just shouted at the microphone. It happens. Sometimes I like to shout. And if you don't like to shout sometimes, well, yeah, find something that makes you want to shout. You know what I mean? I'm getting off on a fucking tangent. Either way, okay, so all these things are terrible symptoms I would hate to have to experience, but I do want to throw this. Whoa, hey, shout out to Phil Collins, shout out to Jamie B. Jammin, shout out to Yellow Teeth, shout out to Uncaged, shout out to Casserole, shout out to All of My Wood, shout out to Mooner6, shout out to Stray Dog, shout out to Harrison Hannon. Also, wait, double down on that. Shout out to Stray Dog. It was his birthday on the 22nd. Word. Yeah, they can all be found on Instagram. Go look up their Instagrams. Sometimes they have cool stuff going on. Sometimes we all have cool stuff going on. I guess it's a pretty big generality. Based on my opinion, they're cool people to check out. Yeah. Okay, we'll just leave it there. So apparently hallucinations are a regular thing with Alice in Wonderland Syndrome. Makes sense. That's probably one of the reasons why it's referred to as Alice in Wonderland Syndrome. Straight lines may appear wavy. Inanimate objects may appear to move. Three-dimensional objects may appear to flatten. Faces may appear to distort. And colors may appear to brighten or change completely. Well, that really does just sort of sound like a drug trip of sorts. Sometimes. Some drug trips. Not all drug trips. That's a very big generality I threw out there. Patients may also report feelings of derealization. Your surroundings become unreal. Depersonalization, where your thoughts and feelings are unreal. And somatopsychic duality, where you are two people at the same time. What the fuck? Two people at the same time? That don't sound right. It's all very trippy, according to IFL Science. So yeah, I mean, it does sound pretty fucking crazy. Also, it just doesn't sound pleasant. But apparently, the syndrome has been linked to epilepsy, infections, strokes, and schizophrenia. But in this case, it was sparked by glioblastoma in the left temporal occipital junction, making it the very first documented example of Alice in Wonderland Syndrome to be caused by cancer. Sorry. Needless to say, if you experience many of these symptoms, perhaps you should visit your doctor. Man, that's what I'm saying. That sounds like a bummer overall. I thought Alice in Wonderland Syndrome would be cool. Like maybe you made friends with a talking rabbit. Maybe you fell down a hole and you found something at the bottom. Or maybe you just hit your head really hard and had hallucinations. But no, it has to be something real serious that's caused by something else leading to something real serious. Well, if the world's gotta be serious, then I know. That's it. I gotta stop my rant. That's the sound of a rant stopping. Fuck. Let me take a sip of coffee. I'm talking too fast for my own brain. Word. That's the train. Okay, so Alice in Wonderland Syndrome is mainly named that because of the hallucination. That's kind of cool. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Alice in Wonderland. You probably have. I'm not referring. I mean, like, I like the animated Alice in Wonderland way better than the Tim Burton movies that came out, which weren't bad. I don't think. I think they were crazy as all get out. But as all get out. Why do I say things like that? Fuck. That was like a preemptive coin in the jar, by the way. I have this copy of Alice in Wonderland, the book, that is from 1950, I believe, and it's this really neat, like, it has these really beautiful blue, I think blue ink drawings, kind of on every other page. Not really color, it's just sort of outlined, like the ink that's outlining it's blue for some reason. But yeah, it's a really old hardback copy, and it's just this kind of gorgeous copy of the story. But it's an old story. You probably know it. You probably heard it. You probably don't have Alice in Wonderland Syndrome. But if you're experiencing, hallucinations of sorts, perhaps stop taking drugs and see if that helps. Or, go to the doctor and get that looked at. He'll like hit you with one of those, like the same thing they bop your knee with to test your reflexes. They just whack you on the face with, and they see how your brain feels right afterward. I've done it several times. It helps. It really does. Shout out to IFL Science, by the way. I love IFL Science. Like I said, it's just full of like random tidbits that they you can look up like technology, new technology articles, new things in space. There's always new things in space. You can look up all sorts of like environmental related articles. It's freaking great. Well organized. Also, shout out to Harrison Hannon again. He's got a whole slew of shows organized this coming up month in February for Black History Month. Starting on February 5th. The R&R is just going all out in a lot of ways. But also, shout out to his band Monkflower. They're like becoming one of the third Thursday regular here in Olympia down at the Rhythm Rye. So it's actually pretty cool. They're a pretty groovy band. You should check them out. I think they're starting. They're down there pretty soon. Either way. Wait. Did I say that right? Yes. Either way. Doesn't matter. I'm ranting enough to know this podcast is about over. And it is. So that has been another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. I swear to God. And, my coconut feels a little riper because I learned about Alice in Wonderland Syndrome. And I drank a cup of coffee. Shout out to Phoebe's Pastry Cafe. Go out there, use your brain for good. Every day is a good day to ripen up your coconut. And like I said, ripen it up how you need to ripen it up. Don't always have to follow my lead. Sometimes you may have already known this. Then good for you. Yeah. So, just go out there and use your brain for good. Ripen up that coconut as best you can. And like I always believe, thanks to Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.